Oh, hi guys, how's everybody? I hope you're having a good day. The weather is in the news a lot across the country and across the world, and it looks like Trump is going to bring this thing in for landing here pretty soon on ending the. I don't want to talk about politics or world situation or news too much. Um, Some of you might know, I started out in the news business, but it was only local news. It was local Texas news, usually local suburban news, some small cities. I never made the big time in that business. But anyway, it looks like things are starting to get better. As soon as they do, overall, our gas prices will go down, which is good. And I also decided on a personal level, I'm not probably going to tell people my age as much as I thought about it, because first of all, age is so subjective as far as looks. Age and weight are very subjective. With looks, some people think somebody looks better at this weight or that age, or, it's just kind of like your personal opinions also. And I also think, for me, I don't mind being friends with people that think all different ways from me. I have a variety of friends. I don't see or talk to them all the time, but, I think everybody's sort of entitled to their opinion. And I guess, as I might have pointed out in another video a long time ago, and a lot of people in the know had mentioned it, a lot of things that go on in the world, unless you're dealing with totally transparent people, a lot of things we don't really know the bottom line and the whole truth and nothing but the truth totally behind something. Unless you are in the inner circles and you're one of the top elite people of the whole world and you're in the inner circle, only those people will know the whole truth. Now, there are some people, and a lot of things we do know. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can know. But life is kind of short to go down all these rabbit holes. I know when I first, years ago, lost my little newspaper job because they were always buying and selling out. They were always merging and such. I didn't knock myself out to get another job in that, although I did do that quite a bit. Worked for a variety of different papers when I was younger, simply because, you get to a point where you get tired of sort of wanting to get to the bottom of everything. And then, we got threatening mail at a lot of the newspapers I worked at. I would get them as an editor or reporter, when you try to probe a lot of things. It can also get into a lot of negativity, and then now insurance is another story. When I got into that, it looks like I did get this other little insurance job. If I do that again, I may have to just do that on my own on a strictly commission, and of course that would be more adaptable to my so-called acting career, or YouTube channel, or different things that I like to do. But, it's, and I think I lost the job due to some kind of AI mix-up too. Although, it is competitive. It could have just been a normal, maybe they wanted somebody younger or something. But anyway, it was funny how I was thinking those two industries, if you're not careful, can be negative as far as if you don't process it properly. I remember one time when I went to one of Dee Wallace Stone's acting classes in one of her energy workshops years ago, when I was one of the times I lived in LA, and she was helping me with an energy clearing. It was interesting how she said, wow, you really came from two industries that tend to be sort of negative in a way, or they focus on negative things. It's not the industry themselves are not necessarily a negative, because a lot of news is positive and a lot of things about insurance is definitely positive because, you know, the coverage and, you know, peace of mind and, you know, the whole thing. In fact, you know, with my news background, and I've sold advertising too, I wouldn't even mind, you know, being helping out with the advertising for either one of those, or writing ad copy or whatever. Um, you know, I'm like a lot of people where I've always felt variety is the spice of life and always wanted to do a lot of different things. Acting is one of the only things that I really enjoy, although that's very competitive to make money at. But I've always enjoyed it when I've worked on that because you can do a lot of different things with it as far as different characters, and it's a lot of variety, you know, whether you write your own characters or you audition for variety characters. But I thought that was an interesting concept that she made because, you know, the premise behind both, or, you know, if you're not careful, you can focus on the negative, you know, because for several years, and to this day even, a lot of news that sells and makes money is when they focus on the negative things of situations. And a lot of times they do try to do a spin on things and make things more negative, or try to stir up trouble, stir up things to make things more negatives to get more, you know, views, or more, you know, sponsors or an audience or more advertisers or whatever. And a lot of it is controlled by the advertisers and their opinions. And but insurance is the same way because, you know, when I was totally